Hello everyone, welcome to the new series about the Azure AI services. So in the last video, you were following us, we were working with the Dapper technology. Don't worry, we are not going to be leaving that behind. We are going to start working with the Azure AI services, and eventually we are going to go back again into the Azure Container Apps and also with Dapper. We are going to integrate the Azure AI services with those technologies to build amazing applications. So on this series of videos, we are going to be working the most important Azure AI services. We are going to explore the core services that we have available on the Azure portal, which technologies they have to offer us, and how we can use them to build successful applications. So in this video, we are going to explore a couple of things very easily. We are going to take a look into things like the Vision Studio and the Azure AI Studio 2. In order to display a couple of the things that you can do on the Azure portal, some of the libraries also and technologies that are available to interact from the .NET or languages like Python as well. And for that, we are going to start working initially with the Vision Studio. The Vision Studio is going to give us the capability to explore things like image extraction, analysis, getting captions, getting OCR from images, and also working with the API for faces in order to get the location of faces, comparison between two faces, and also try to summarize model in order to recognize a particular person inside an image. So Azure offers a vast set of services that you can use to build a smart application. One of the heart of this service is going to be the Azure AI Studio and also the Azure AI services. Those two work together in order to provide a huge vast of services together into a single place. So also we have a bunch of services that can be worked individually, like anomaly detection, content moderation, faces API, both services, and all of the items that you see on screen can be treated as individual services. But one of the easiest way to work with the AI services is to create an Azure AI service account. And working together with the Azure AI Studio, you can consume multiple of these services using a single configuration, a single key for your API, and a single authentication place. And that will allow you to mix all the services together without having to manage multiple terms of infrastructure. So we will work with the Azure AI services to work on that. Okay, so with this introduction, let's take a look into the Azure portal. Now that we are in the Azure portal, we can easily take a sneak peek into the different services that we have available. As you can see on the screen, when you navigate all the Azure services, you will have a full category for AI and also for machine learning. In here, you will find a list of available services that you can use in order to build applications that are being supported by artificial intelligence. And also you can build models using machine learning too, in case you are more into that or you need a more customized solution. The Azure AI Studio and the Azure AI services, the first two services that you see on the left, are actually pretty important, because that way you will be able to create a single resource and be able to consume all the services that you don't see on the screen. So as an example, when you create an Azure AI service, you can interact with the Face API, with a custom vision, with the computer vision, with the Face APIs and other services without creating any additional resources. So for now, for this demo, I'm going to show you very quickly an already created Azure AI service into the Azure portal, but eventually in the next video, we are going to be creating one from scratch using the CLI as we always do. So you take a sneak peek, you will be able to see that each one for the services that you can centralize in the Azure AI service, you have a particular URL, and also you are provided with two keys in order to interact with the service. But if you have been following us already, you know that I avoid to use keys as much as possible. So of course we are going to be using Azure authentication using the default credential set in order to authenticate against these services. So when working locally, we will be using the Azure local account throughout the Azure CLI. And when we deploy applications to the Azure portal, we are going to be supporting managed identities in order to access the resources. So these keys are actually not pretty important for us at this point. But in case you don't want to use any managed identity or support any client credentials, you can easily use one of these two keys in order to interact with the services. So as you can see, for each one of the available services, you get a different URL. But there is something in particular, is that all of them share the same keys for the authentication schema. So you don't have to manage multiple keys, but instead just handle the URLs that are provided for each one of these services. Now we can easily go into the Azure AI Studio, and the Azure AI Studio actually gives us the opportunity to explore very quickly some of the services that are available in here. As an example, we can take a look into the Face API. Something that it comes pretty handy with the Azure AI Studio is that you can experiment different services without creating any additional resources or even writing any code. Also, when you test some of these services, in this example, the Face API, you will be given the response in here. You are going to be given an example with the JSON schema that is part of the response. And also you will have, in some of the cases, to be able to interact to the code. So you can get a code from Python and also from the .NET infrastructure using C#. And the Azure portal is going to give you this example pretty easily. So you can mostly copy paste this code and use it as a branch start for your code. Another thing that we are going to be exploring deeply eventually is going to be the Azure Vision Studio. This is a different set URL. I'm going to drop the link into the description below. But with the portal Vision Studio in here, you will be able also to interact with some of the services, in this case especially those that are for working with images. If we take a look at one pretty cool example, and we try to take a look into this retail store, this is using the video indexer and the AI services in order to identify and authenticate things throughout a video. As an example, I can ask him to, okay, locate throughout the video anything that seems to have coffee on the floor. When I try to search, he's going to give us back that information. So we are given the timestamps whether it seems to be have coffee on the floor. So we can build this kind of things using all the Azure AI services. And as you already might guess, coding these services is actually pretty easy. Let's take a look into the area to take a quick example. So when writing code, it will be exactly the same thing as we have done on the past. We can use the Azure clients from the extension from the Microsoft NuGet package. And as an example for the computer vision, we can use the Add Image Analysis client. For that, we are required to install the NuGet package for it. And in this case, it's going to be the computer vision NuGet package. Don't worry, we are going to be doing a deep dive into exploring into those later and how to install that library, how to use it properly. The authentication schema is pretty simple, as you can see, nothing overcomplicated, and the only thing that you need to provide for this type of authentication, it will be the endpoint. In case you want to use the key as well, you can pass the second parameter in here as part of the overload and remove the credential, so the application uses the key instead of the Azure credential from local environment or the managed identity in the Azure portal. This example is pretty simple. See, this is going to create a image client computer vision in order to extract information from an image. So in here we are going to be sending the URL of a particular image, and this is going to extract a lot of information from the image. It's going to generate a caption, more detailed caption. It's going to detect objects into the image. It's going to locate any text. It is going to generate text from us based on the content that is located into the image. Is going to identify and locate people in the image, and also we can have the possibility to create smart crops, and this is to create small thumbnails that are based on the base image, focusing on important pieces of the image without losing any important side of it. Also, we can provide a basic configuration in case we want to extract messages. We can provide an input language. We can for the caption generation provide if we want to use a gender or non-neutral caption for it. And for the smart crops, we can provide the aspect ratio that we would like to use, just as an example. By just creating the client, we can request the analyze async, send the image URL, or also the stream of the image using a binary data. Any of those are actually right to use. And we will provide the visual features that we would like to extract. From here, we also provide the options, and after that, we will be able to operate these images. In this demo, to make it very simple, I am only extracting the different tags and also the dense caption and caption that has been provided as part of the result. So let's see the application in execution and see how it works. Now if we go into the browser, we will be able to see the application already. Nothing too fancy. This is just a Blazor application that takes a URL as an input for the image. Now I'm going to submit this image to the code that I just displayed into the demo, and this is going to extract some very basic information. So let's take a look. So now that we got the response back, we have the analysis of the image. So we have a couple of tags. It is a bird, this is an animal, it is located outdoor, there is a tree of the background, this is a sparrow, and it's also going to give us something pretty important. This is the confidence of the response. This is an important value that you need to take a look, because if you would like only to display information that have a high confidence or a threshold of confidence, you need to filter that information by yourself. Also, we provided a couple of captions. As you can see from the caption, we got a bird perched on a branch, a close-up of a plant, a close-up of a bird's beak. But as you can see, some of them have a lower confidence into this case. So you have to be very wary how to use it. Okay, so as you can see, using the Azure AI service is actually pretty simple. We have a quick demo on how to make the image work, and we create the resources pretty easily. On the next video, we are going to do a deep dive. We are going to recreate the Azure AI services from scratch. We are going to explore a little bit more in detail throughout the code, and we are going to be going into a more advanced case scenario where we are going to be extracting more detailed information from an image as well, and presenting that information to the user throughout the UI. I hope you like this series. See you in the next video.